Hello, everyone. I think I'm going live right now. I'm not sure. I don't have people. I don't know how you do this so much. Hi, Tommy. Good to see you. Tomei. Good to see you. And Linda. Oh my gosh, Texas Linda. Good to see you, Texas Linda. Good to see your name. Okay. Well, it seems to be coming through okay. It's so hot here today. Oh my gosh. Oh, hello, hello. You know what? Well, hello, Tommy, Linda, Alga, Danny, Stephen, Madeline. Madeline! Hi, Madeline. Good to see you. Okay, hi, Stephen and Chelsea. Okay, all right. So here we go. Let's see what wants to be said here. Yeah, okay. It's going back to the intelligence of animals, the intelligence of every level of life on this world, including the virus colonies and the bacterial colonies. Everything on this planet has intelligence, everything. There is not a single organic product, and actually the minerals have their own level of intelligence as well. Where is it? Oh, I see. 9? Okay. So it's really important for Kundalini people to realize this, to understand this, and to allow themselves to have an appreciation of the intelligence of sacred feminine as she expresses herself through the grace of, how do I say it? Through the grace of form through other creatures. Like this little crow I have over here. I rescued a crow a few nights ago. Fell out of the nest, and it was just basically sitting there waiting to be killed. Now I understand that it was creating prey for a hunter, but it also, happened when I was walking by, so the chances are that I would definitely take an interest, and that I had a spare little bird dormitory here, and that I also have the interest and the expertise to be able to help that bird, which is what is occurring. So you can hear it tapping maybe a little bit here with this microphone. I'm not quite sure. Danny Butler says, keep up the good work. And you betcha, Danny, I will definitely do that. And thank you for that vote of confidence. So not quite sure how this live vid thing works, but I'll just go with it. And Eamon, hello to you, Eamon Hamoud. So with the intelligence, going off of this question that someone asked on the group is like, do pets keep us from getting attacked by entities? For the most part, they don't, because the entities have a purpose. Your grace is allowing the entities around you, and I mean negative entities like scary demonic things that want to scare you and hurt you and corrupt you in some way, right? She's allowing this to occur for you to understand the levels of what it is to practice noble behaviors, and what that does to the attraction that you might have for specific entities to try to partake of your consciousness. Okay, so the pets will not protect you from this, because there's there's a reason for you doing this, for you having this. Grace understands you better than you understand yourself. Now your ego is going to go, oh my God, I saw this horrible, ugly thing, and it was sitting on top of me, and it was trying to have sex with me, and it was just, oh my God, it was just terrible, terrible, terrible. You know, and this is going to happen. This is going to happen, and you just choose to no longer be afraid of that. You no longer are afraid of any of the entities that come to you, whether you see them or hear them. A lot of them are just audio. You know, it's like something is plugged into your brain, and you're hearing something say to you, you should just kill yourself, Chrism, you piece of worthless crow excrement. You just kill yourself, get it over with. You'll make so many other people happy. This is your world, Chrism. You just kill yourself right now, and think of all the energy that will be saved, all the food that won't be eaten, all of the, you know, that type of thing. And they'll really do their best to corrupt you into ending your life or to ending somebody else's life. A lot of the shooters that you see, you know, going in and shooting up schools or theaters or marketplaces or things like that, they are completely possessed by a corruptive entity or a group of corrupting entities, to the point where they'll strap on that bomb vest and there they go. Okay? And so this is what the Kundalini is teaching you. The Kunalini is teaching you that you have control over how much and what kind of corruption you will not have. You will not allow yourself to have that. The game is up for these entities. The game is over because you have knowledge. And so if you hear something coming into your head saying, oh, steal that man's wallet or hurt that woman over there, or this or that, you can just go, no, I will not. That is not me. I do not own that corruption. That is not of me, and I will not do that. Boom. The game is up. And you do that enough, and that entity just starts to run out of steam. You know, there's nothing there for it to feed on anymore. You know, a lot of them, you know, the corruptive ones will try to feed on the violence that they help you to commit. Not only violence to yourself, but look at all those parts. But violence to another person. They'll feed off of that. They'll feed off of the anguish and the karma that you're creating by falling into the corruption that they are helping you to commit. But if you don't do that, you don't follow that voice. You know, the problem with this voice is that, you know, people think that, well, the kingdom of heaven is within, therefore heaven is telling me to do these things. They've never heard, you know, they've never experienced any kind of audio telepathy before. And so this is the first time, and so this begins to rearrange their idea of reality. And that rearrangement with that reality is that they must listen to this voice. They must do what this voice is telling them to do. And the voice, you know, that entity is all for it. All for it. And so, of course, you know, they will blow themselves up or go and start killing, you know, a lot of people. But because Kundalini people have access to knowledge and information that will refute that kind of behavior coming through them, no longer do they have to be a victim of that corruption. You don't. You do not have to be a victim of that corruption. And I will suggest that you can go the other way. That's what I did. Some of you know that early in my process, I was involved in an out-of-body experience. And I was out of body, you know, kind of like a lucid dream type of scenario. And it was very strange scenario. I was in a room that had about 6 inches of like muddy water on the floor. And there was an old guy with a beard, you know, sitting in a chair, just kind of staring off into the distance. And there was these wooden type fish floating around the air. And a young couple was forced into the room, and they were pretty upset. They were begging to be let go, and a voice came out and said, well, you can either kill yourself here or you can run. Well, the guy chose to run. The woman was so distraught that she just fell on her knees, and her face was being forced by something into the floor. And, you know, I inserted myself into that equation. I fell for the trap. It was a trap. And I pulled her face out of the water, and I immediately was in hell. I was immediately transferred into a hell realm. And I couldn't find a way out. You know, there were all these holes, and you just couldn't get out, you know. And finally I woke up, but I was really devastated. I was really like, what the heck just happened? Oh my God. And boy, as they used to say back in the cowboy days, boy howdy, was I scared, you know. And it took me 2 years. It took me 2 years to get out of that. And I'll tell you how. You know, that was one of the first things they showed me as my first hell realm experience, except from that one, was my sister was being placed on a conveyor belt, and the conveyor belt was leading into an oven, and she was to be burned alive. And I tried to stop them, and 5 or 6 people in law enforcement uniforms held me down, and I couldn't get away from them. I couldn't help her. And she kept on saying, it's okay, it's okay. But, you know, it wasn't okay to me. And so situation after situation like that, my mother getting raped in the middle of a street, and me being forced to or trying to be programmed to do horrible things to innocent people, all these things. Finally, you know, after figuring out how to resist it, I just kind of got bored with it. And one day, one night actually, I was there, I was in hell, and it was daytime in hell. And I looked up on the street sign, and it said universal, but it spelled universal wrong. It was a spelling error. And I said, what? You don't even know how to spell universal? I'm out of here. Boom. And I was out of there. I was gone. I was not in hell anymore. So it is a real place. And in many cases, it's dealing with levels of corruption. Once again, we're talking about levels of corruption. And those levels of corruption are a strong point of training for the individual. You have to learn how to resist that corruption. You have to learn how to choose an honorable path, a path of decency as your culture sees decency to be, of noble qualities of behavior as your culture sees noble qualities of behavior to be. That will take you straight out of hell. You will not have a problem with that in the future, but you really got to get it down. And the nice thing about Kundalini is you get to actually experience it consciously. It's not some sort of a sleep thing where you're like, oh yeah, I can't remember my dreams today. You know, and if you know you're going to hell, you're going, thank God I didn't remember my dreams today. It took me a long time to get out. 2 years is a long time, but I did have an experience, and I mentioned it, I think, in a blog talk, but I'll mention it here as well. I was with a friend of mine, and we were canvassing Santa Cruz and putting out a flyer for a seminar that was being put on at the local church. And I saw a boat, in Santa Cruz, California. They got this big long dock, and they got lots of restaurants and gift shops and things like that. But they also had a boat cruise. And I suggested, hey, let's take the boat cruise. And she wasn't really interested because she doesn't like to be on the open water. But she said, as long as it stays within sight of the land, I'll be okay. I won't feel like I'm fish food as much. So I went ahead and got the tickets, and we got on the boat. And as soon as I got on the boat, this guy must have been like 5 feet. His name was Arthur. And he had that New Yorker accent, and he started telling me all these things about myself, and that I had no idea, who is this guy, right? And I was being very kind of like, quiet, but I was listening to him. And then he turns to me and he says, hell is not forever. And I was blown away. This guy knew that I was going to hell every night. And my friend, she also knew, and she turned at me, and her eyes were really big and wide, like, what? And he says, yeah, hell is not forever. It's just there to teach you how to self-correct. It's just education. And then he said some more things, but I was still kind of in the blown away mode. And he, the cruise finished, and he just disappeared. I never saw him again. And so we call that an Arthur experience. So maybe some of you have had an Arthur experience too. Somebody out of the blue comes up and says some things that are just like, whoa, what on earth is going on with that? So yeah, and I learned that to be the truth. I found that was true. You have to learn how to control your animosity, your anger, your desire for revenge, your desire to victimize others or to victimize yourself. You have to learn how to treat yourself with various frequencies of love. Love is not, oh, honey, I love you much, let's go on a date, get married, and have kids. That is one aspect of love, okay? But love is multifaceted, like allowing a person to make a mistake, a hurtful mistake, but a mistake that they learn from. That is love. Albeit it is a form of tough love, but it is love nonetheless. Love. We learn to live our life within the frequency of love, within Kundalini. That's the premise of everything that I teach. Everything. Live within the multifaceted parameters of love and expand what your definition of love actually is. Is love just, having a relationship, making love and bringing flowers home, saying, I love you, honey? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But that's not all it is. That's definitely not all it is. Love is having compassion for a baby crow and helping it to live and thrive and to fly away. You're not there to keep it caged. Love is allowing a child to touch that hot iron at least once. Okay. Love is helping that homeless person by giving them some money or giving them a job or giving in some way that eases the burden of their life, that time of their life. Love is picking up cans on the side of the road. Love is starting a company and being very successful and helping other people through that company. Love is appreciation of yourself as a saint in training. Love is the Kundalini, really. Kundalini is the love of the divine upon us, transforming us, changing us. Okay. Love is leaving that spouse if the relationship is no longer working or they're resisting. You know, your Kundalini phenomena. Kundalini will end a relationship for you if that relationship isn't being productive and conducive towards the Kundalini transformation that you or that spouse may be having. So many facets of love. Facets of love. I wish I could name them all, but I can't. There's just so many. But you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm feeling. Maybe you can feel it right now. Now, I did some oming last time. I think I did one om. If you're interested, and show me with your heart. If you're interested, I will do some more oming right now. And you can tie into that. You can tie into whatever energy I have to give to you right now. You can tie into that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put myself in a position where that can happen. And I've got one heart, two hearts. So 2 of you want to hear the oming. The rest of you are just going to change the channel. All right, here we go. All right, there you have it. I hope it helped some of you, the 2 of you. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, I noticed that Texas Linda, wrote something up here. I'll see if I can get to it. She says, I see hell as a place only within, because we are all still not perfect as long as we are here experiencing this earth life. That is all hell means to me. Is it in harmony or chaos within? Well, see, I don't disagree with that. But I also feel that Kundalini is allowing us to experience different realities. And these realities all have a level of teaching to give to us. And the hell realm is a reality where negativity and levels of evil exist. And this exists on this world as well. And so we are given that hell realm experience so that we know what not to do, what not to become in all the ways. In all the ways. Let me give you an example. One of the experiences I had in the hell realm was I was pushed really, really hard to kill an old man and a young person in a church. But not just in the church, but in like the steeple or the, you know, they have a little room up there on the top of a chapel where the bell is, right? And I was supposed to sneak up behind them with a gun and shoot them in the back of the head, right? And I was really against this. And I didn't want to go to sleep that night. I did not want to go to sleep that night. And I trained myself to cough awake so that I wouldn't have that action done through me or with me or anything like that. So I trained myself to use a physiological body maintenance action to thwart any kind of manipulation by different entities to make me commit something terrible. And it worked. I never did it. And you can do this too. You can do this too. If you ever, not everybody's going to go to hell. I think I had to go to hell because of the work I do right now. I had to, she's pummeled me with so many different experiences because people are going to have so many different experiences. And if they come to me for help, well, I better have authentic assistance to give them. I can't just say, oh, well, Google entities causing you to commit horrible crimes. You know, it's like, it's not going to help. Some of this stuff you have to experience yourself. So yeah, I was given a lot of different experiences, and not because, you know, I'm this like secret serial killer or anything like that, but because of the many different experiences that people will have with Kundalini and with the entities that sometimes come with the Kundalini. Not everybody gets the Kriyas. Not everybody has negative entities trying to corrupt them. Not everybody has, you know, Tourette's type of scenarios. Not everybody has the same thing. But there are enough people that do have very similar phenomena that can be addressed, and they need to be addressed by a person that has had the experience themselves. I've had the Kriyas, I've had the entities, and I've had many of other things. Now, if you have any questions about anything that I'm discussing right now, I don't know how long. Oh, I've been doing this for 26 minutes here, and it looks like. Do I look at the event log and it says 107, or the live 26, or live the I with the 16? I'm not quite sure how that works. So if anybody can give me a heads up with that, I don't know. All right, and I'll send a heart to the people here. There we go. Okay, so I think I will end this right here, right now. I don't want anybody to fall asleep. I know it was a long time last time because it was my first time. But I have a better background here. I'm in the Spartan trailer. Some of you have been here. Rosemary's been here, and some other folks have been here. And so I just want to say blessings to all of you. Surrender yourself to control of your Kundalini. Surrender the control of your life to Kundalini. I'm not saying drop everything all at once, but eventually just see where she wants you to go, feel it, and allow that to occur. Allow it to occur. Love you all. Really. Don't know you, but I can love you. Your grace knows you. And maybe next Saturday, about this time, we can do the same thing. Thank you for watching.